was told I'm not a parent after supporting my best friend's child for years.
That doesn't seem too nice. I think maybe you should remove your services.
This is a long one. The background. 12 years ago, my best friend passed away during our last year of university. The accident shook us all, and no one more than his wife, we'll call her Elena, who was at that point 4 months pregnant. All three of us had been incredibly close friends. By the way, this comes from Capital Guard. If you want to submit any of your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So she couldn't do it alone, and her family lived 2,000 miles away. After speaking to her about it, I made a decision. I was the more financially stable of the two of us. I had secured a position at a law firm, this is in the UK, and had some inheritance from my grandparents. So I became the base of support. I took Elena to the doctors, helped her with rent, got her groceries, etc., etc. When the twins were born, I moved onto her couch for 3 months, helping her in any way I could.
He's doing the most.
Yeah.
Doing the most.
For the next 4 years, it worked like this. We lived separately, but I spent half the week at hers helping the kids from diapers to preschool.
Oh my God.
I was there. I was never officially their parent. No papers were signed, but I gave emotional, practical, and financial support. When they began schooling, I was listed as a non-parental guardian. I was then offered a promotion, which included lots of travel.
Got a promotion to dad.
I thought that's where they were going at first.
Yeah,
but, you know.
yeah. I mean, maybe she'd, moved him off the couch and then started calling him daddy.
I mean,
it starts with one.
Again, Elena and I spoke, and I decided to take it. I spent the next 2 years making it back once a month. I'd spend 3 to 5 days with them, then leave again. For 2 years after that, the balance became half and half travel and home. For the past 4 years, I've used the UK as a hub, doing business trips, and having gone back to spending 3 to 4 days a week with them. To be clear, the whole thing has never been romantic. Both she and I have seen other people, and in the past year, she's found a very nice guy who both the kids like, which is great. The issue at hand. I've always tried to be there for the kids' big events, school plays, birthdays, tournaments, etc. I've been to the parent-teacher meetings, taken them to the doctor. Now, recently, their school had set up shows/fundraising thing where the parents are invited to come and donate generously. I assumed I was going, set aside the time, and when I broached the subject with Elena, she said she wanted her partner to come. I said we could all go. She said it was parents only. So I said jokingly that he wasn't really the kid's parent, to which she said, well, technically, neither are you.
Get out. I don't like this at all.
At that point, I got angry, feeling that was deeply unfair. We got into a fight, and then it ended with me being told I wouldn't be welcome at that event. I left, and we haven't spoken since. I get that she's their mother. She has a genetic and legal position that I don't. I'm not angry about wanting her partner to come to the event. Being told I wasn't a parent, though,
that's gonna hurt.
That hurts a lot. I think it's mostly the fact that for me, the way she said she really seemed to imply that I wasn't important in their lives, and I think I was justified in my reaction. That's why I'm here. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? People of the comments have similar questions. One of which, what is the relationship between you and the kids? How do they see you? Without giving too many identifying details, there's a way of shortening my name, which is very baby friendly. And when the twins were little, we taught them that. There were some slip ups when they were small, but I always tried to make sure that they knew I wasn't substituting their biological father. To this day, they call me the shortened version of my name when they speak to me directly, and they've been told to ask your OP from their mother before. It is effectively my title, and like all of this, it's unfortunately not straightforward. In terms of attachment, I've been the one that they've called out after a nightmare, run to after scoring a goal, held the hand of when we went to the doctors. When I was overseas, we'd call every 2 to 3 days to talk. They'd also stay over at my place on weekends and afternoons. They have their own area in my home. Question 2, how was your relationship with Elena prior to this? She was my best friend for 12 years. We've always discussed my contributions, which have changed in type and amount over the past decade or so. We've spoken almost every day. Our relationship before this incident was rarely strained. We've had some fights, yes, but in the same way anyone who you know for 12 years will have a fight. We rarely disagreed on how the kids should be raised, even on things like religion. Both their father and I practice the same faith, and the kids have come with me once a month to service. However, I've always made it clear to her that she has the last word on things, and if she drew a line, I never pushed it. Hence why, when told, don't come to the event, full stop, I'm not going to push it or go. Is this new partner who might be pushing back against your involvement?
That was my question. That was definitely my question.
That has to be it, because it's such a flip.
OP answers, I don't know, but I hope not. He and I have been amicable since we met, and I've never gotten any hostility from him. I hold no anger over her finding someone to be with. He deserves to be happy, and this new guy seems truly to be a good one. She has dated before, but they were never serious enough to introduce her to the kids. This is the first time, and luckily, they seem like they like him too. They have been together for just under a year, and he's known the kids for around months or so. Question 4, did she ask the kids? Did they say something? I don't know. How much time have you physically spent with them? For 8 to 10 years, I have been present 3 to 4 days a week. Not full time, I see this, but constant. For 2 of those 12 years, the 2.5 and half, I spend 3 to 5 days a month. I fully acknowledge that I wasn't present at that time, but I did call the 3 of them every 2 to 3 days. So again, he's talking to them.
Yeah, he's
multiple times a week.
extremely involved.
Yeah. Why were you going to the fundraiser in the first place? I've been going to them at the school since the kids started there. The teachers know the situation, and I'm friends with a number of the parents. I would have been happy to attend separately just to see the kids in their show. I wasn't and am not really worried about the event. Being excluded stings, as I think is clear from my text. However, what truly hurt and created the anger was the "you're not a parent" part.
Yeah.
And the dismissal that I felt that contained it. If it had been worded as, I wanted to do this thing with just the 4 of us and make it a date, I genuinely think this would have been different. And what do you / have you contributed financially? In the beginning, I paid half for rent, groceries, baby supplies, etc., etc. I have always and currently do pay for the kids' tuitions as they attend a private institution. So I fund their hobbies and most holidays, camps, etc., as well as any gifts that I may make. Question 8, cut them off. No, unless Elena tells me to stop with any of the support, financial, emotional, practical, I will not be cutting them off. I love these kids. I will not let what is a personal dissonance between us adults impact them. Parent or not, I will not take away the support. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an update.
Oh boy.
Will he stay? Will he go? Will he be accepted?
Opie's got to stay. Opie's got to stay.
He's got to stay. I think he'll stay in some capacity, but if she keeps pushing him out.
Well, I mean, he doesn't really have a choice.
Update. Well, it's been a long several months and a lot has happened. So I thought I'd give Reddit an update. There were a lot of not the a-holes on the last post, but a lot of your not the parents as well. A mixed field, but a fair assessment. For the record, I did not attend a show, but was delighted by the pictures. After, as many of you lovely Redditors pointed out, the best thing to do is to talk with Elena. We've been best friends for over a decade. I'm happy to report we continue to be. I'll give the short of the situation. Elena and I spoke a lot. It started with little steps, but we got to the big issues. Our link, my link with the kids, her new partner, the whole deal. Little by little, we got things set straight and where we both sit on them. As some of you rightly guessed, there was a lot to untangle, but 15 years of friendship saw us through. The next phase was talking to the kids. First, Elena, then us together. I'd already gone back to seeing them, and as I mentioned before, their welfare has always been my priority. Surprisingly, the conversation was more straightforward than it had been with Elena. Somewhere in the middle, we also spoke. There was a lot of speaking with Elena's partner, who I'm going to be calling Bob. The beginning wasn't the smoothest, but we got there. Here's what came of it. The truth of the matter, I'm not the twins' biological father. But what we realized was that somewhere in the past 12 years of sharing our lives, and despite trying so hard not to overstep boundaries, I fell into the role. I can't separate myself, and they don't want me to. So slowly, we've been working on what this new unconventional normality looks like. Bob has been a surprising godsend of all of this. I really think Elena's found a good guy. I'm still mostly called by my nickname, but the slips have gone uncorrected. In the meantime, Bob's gotten his own moniker. A little way down the line in all of this, the old vid happened. It became a thing. So we decided to take a big jump. I moved in for the duration of the quarantine. Now, this was easier than moving their whole household into my apartment. No better way to put an arrangement to the test. I'm back to my university days of sleeping on the couch, working at the kitchen table, and cooking every dinner. I've stopped not one, but 2 doomed attempts at self-dyeing hair and had a conversation with one twin about taking my surname when he's older. He thinks it makes his name sound cooler, and I've said that we'll ask his mom. So Reddit, I hope that this can bring a bit of joy to the Am I the A-hole community. It's not easy. We are adjusting, and we all know this will remain unconventional. However, the kids are happy, and we adults are too.
Bob stumbled into the most complicated relationship ever.
And he's making it work.
And he's rolling with the punches.
He's rolling with the punches.
I feel like the real hero here is Bob. So shout out
to Bob.
Bobby. Bobby.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be as a self-secure hero as our dear friend Bob, there's only one thing you have to do.
One thing. Spotify,
Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast app. You just search OK Storytime. You have thousands of episodes of content to binge.
Do it!
Become the best you
Do
can.
it!
P.S. to the Redditor who named me as the Intercontinental Super Uncle Warbucks. When this is all over, I'm getting that on a mug. And another edit. Thank you all so much for the well wishes. I'm glad I could share this lovely update with you all. And a lot of you lovely folks have inquired about adoption. In the UK, there's no option to adopt someone you are not related to.
Wait, there's no option for adoption?
Unless you, A, apply for adoption order, which would sever the link with the living parent, or B, you are the partner of the living parent. As can be seen, neither would work for, okay, so basically in order to adopt them, they would legally have to like sever ties with their mother.
That's crazy. I don't think
Stupid
that.
system.
Yeah, that I feel that's dumb. It's kind of dumb, right?
Yeah, that's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
However, we figured out a system a long time ago, and it includes what to do if we were to befall. A, kid safety is always insured, I promise, and that's it.
Yep, that's it.
He's
Is that
promised.
it? That's
He
it?
promised, yeah.
Wow. OP is
promised that he
short and
meant
to the
it.
point. OP has money to make, children to watch.
Dude,
You
so much money to make
Bob's
and so many
alpha.
children to watch.
Yeah. Woo!
Wow.
I mean, that turned out way better than expected.